The number of top 2 victim of regional cyber attacks, a lot of headlines related to this, and then the vulnerabilities that exist today. So these are just some of the headlines and the problems that we're facing each and every day. So those are some of the background. I mean, some of that you probably came in this morning saying, Dan, we know what the problems are. So what are some solutions? What I'd like to do is go through 5 areas, 5 things that are keeping CISOs up at night, and then what you can do about it in each of those areas. And then in addition to that, end with 3 final areas, recommendations that you can think about. So the first area, as our previous speaker mentioned very well, that's on the minds of CIOs and really IT professionals around the world is the cloud. And yet the question that's being asked is, can I trust the cloud? And how can you trust the cloud? And so just some headlines here that NASA falls short on cloud computing security. Apple iCloud was actually hacked. HIPAA breaches in the cloud. And then also eBay had a breach. And then more recently, this one just came out last month at the end of March. The top 5 hosting providers in the United States were hacked. So it's pretty scary data around cloud computing. And I happen to be an advocate for cloud computing. So how can we think about this? How can we move forward? Well, first of all, we need to understand what are the things that are attracting people to the cloud. It's this balance between trust on one side and control on the other side, and the struggle there. On the one side, blind trust is people signing up for things like Gmail or at their home. Just signing up for services on the cloud and just trusting that the provider will provide you the level of security, the level of accountability you want. On the other end, enterprises all talk about control. Say, I don't want to be involved in the cloud, and so I have standards, terms, and conditions that I control, but I won't use the cloud in that way. So the challenge is, how do you work in the middle? How can you have a solution that is a middle road? So it's our job as technology professionals to really find the balance between ownership, security, legal issues, location of hosting, and then also reduce cost, accountability, and agility. So how do we do that? It's very, very difficult in this environment. And I would suggest one solution to start off with. And that is every enterprise, including those here in the room today, need to think about a cloud risk assessment, or what we call in the States, rogue cloud providers. So what is actually happening on your networks right now? Do you really know who's accessing what systems? Do you really know, have you done a survey of software as a service footprints? Do you know the risk score of the applications people are accessing? So you have end user employees that are going out to the cloud to access data. But do you know if those cloud providers have a risk profile? What is that profile? And then you must understand the business data that's being collected, used, and regulations to ensure that compliance is being met. So building a data flow map, a gap analysis, find out where your data is being stored. These are very important steps. So how do you do that? There's a lot of providers out in the hall today, a lot of our sponsors today will help you with this. There are cloud companies that will walk you through a risk assessment in your cloud environment. I encourage you to do that. Here's also some models that are being used in the US and also in the UK. FedRAMP, if you've never heard that term before, I encourage you to go look at them. FedRAMP is a process the US government is using. If a government wants to be able to be a cloud provider, they have to pass FedRAMP certifications. What does that mean? So we know that Microsoft and Google and all these big cloud companies, the other ones I mentioned earlier, have the ability to secure things, but are they securing your data? And are the processes in place, are the configurations in place to your level of security so your security policy is being met?